Chauffeurs who drive around rich people. What are some of the weird/shocking conversations you have overheard? Friend of mine worked for an upscale concierge chauffeur service. His most memorable moment came when he lost Marie Osmond. The fairly simple jig: go to airport and pick up Marie Osmond, who was to be the featured entertainer at a private plane. Comes in, he meets her. She's carrying a bag, but her checked suitcase, containing her stage dresses and makeup, is missing. She is unflappable, though ... asked to be taken to the nearest upscale mall. He does as instructed. She goes into a large upscale department store, selects 2 long sequined cocktail dresses, and goes to the fitting room to try them on, without him. Of course. Unfortunately, there are 2 entrances and exits to the fitting room, and Marie Osmond exits out through the other side, and cannot find my chauffeur buddy, who is waiting patiently on the side she'd entered. 20 minutes passing. He thinks something has gone wrong, so he grabs a female manager and asks her to go into the fitting rooms and ask for Marie Osmond. The manager thinks she is being pranked and declines. Chauffeur buddy is in mini panic mode now, running wildly around the store asking random customers, "Have you seen Marie Osmond? Have you seen Marie Osmond?" Store security is summoned and he is asked to leave the premises right now. He calls his employer and tells them he's lost Marie Osmond. The employer doesn't have her cell phone number, but has her agent's number, and he is not accepting call. She has in the meantime taken a cab to the jig, thinking she has been forgotten. Lots of apologies eventually ensued, and there were no repercussions. My dad was a chauffeur when I was younger, and he told me of one story driving the director of the company down the road with the Blackpool illuminations in the company limousine. The director was standing up out of the sunroof with his arms out, waving at people as he drove past. What the people on the street didn't know is that in the back of the limo there were 2 prostitutes blowing him. He thought I couldn't speak French, heard him telling his wife on the telephone where she should order a strap-on. Not a chauffeur, and I was a participant in this conversation. I used to tutor an oligarch's daughter in Rebecca, the wealthy suburb outside Moscow. One day she mentioned that she likes to ski. I asked her which kind of skiing. She preferred downhill, is more popular where I'm from, but cross-country is quite popular in Russia. It's even part of some schools' curriculum. Answer: my favorite kind of skiing is the type where you jump out of a helicopter. Silly me, I forgot about the kind. I've had multiple people pay me handsomely to let them smoke weed in the car. Heard a French guy yelling at his wife that $10,000 was too much to pay for 2 bracelets, that she also overheard a lot of business deals with absurd amount of money reference, like tens of millions. I used to drive limousine and taxi. One time I got the manager of a fairly famous Canadian band in my car asking me where to buy. I had no idea where, and I told him that. So his bright idea was to find a prostitute, hire her, and ask. I told him I couldn't help him pick up prostitutes either. He was disappointed, but understood. He had me drive down a well-known street until he saw a prostitute. He asked me to pull over, got out of the taxi, paid the fare, and then immediately flagged me down again as a new ride. I knew what was up, but what else? He gets back into the car with the prostitute, and she tells him exactly what house to go to for some coat. I take them there and wait a bit. They come back out, and I drive him back to the venue. Then he offers me 2 free tickets to the show, which I gladly accepted as love that band, and had seen them 3 times. Alas, since I was still working during the show, I gave them away to 2 friends who had never seen the band. They had a good time, and I had a fun story to share with them about how I scored those tickets. Not really a shocking conversation and hardly a famous person, but it was interesting how easily and full of trust people can be about searching out and buying drugs in a strange city. For the record, this was 2003. Buddy of mine ended up picking up a Netflix producer while doing Uber. He said they had a great conversation as he brought him to his hotel. The producer invited him up for a drink, and since my friend was a film student, he thought it'd be a good idea to go and try to get some good networking in. They hung out for about an hour when he asked my friend if he knew of any massage places with happy ending. He didn't, but the guy paid him $500 to bring him to the closest massage place, which was only a few miles out. Upon dropping him off, he gave my buddy a card and said there's a big party / festival I'm hosting that he'll kick it in. I'll let you know then if I get that happy ending. He got the happy ending. Not a conversation and not me, but definitely weird, shocking and disgusting. A friend of mine who worked in music was in a limo with Robin Thicke and a load of dancers and models driving round London. They're all just chatting and whatnot. And out of nowhere, Robin Thicke just starts going down on one of the models. There was an awkward split-second silence, and then everyone just carried on and ignored. About 25 years ago, I had a summer job at a very tony country club. 6-figure joining fee, 5-figure continuing membership dues, and that got you nothing but the privilege of paying top dollar for rounds, food, etc. I was a porter some of the time, as we had cottage on club grounds for members to stay and make a weekend of it. One of my duties was driving members to and from airports, usually private airports, for private jets. One time I'm driving 2 guys to the airport, and one of them starts complaining. Seems he and his wife are always fighting over who gets the jet every weekend and where they want to go. Well, the other one replied, "My 3rd jet is actually just gathering dust right now, since my son went to college. Wanna take it off my hand?" They shook on it right there in the van. Wasn't exactly a chauffeur, but I did have the distinguished privilege of working with a multimillionaire one time for a couple days, and I was just astounded at how out of touch he was with people. One conversation he was talking about how he hated all the new homes they were building and he liked old castles, so he was having a castle in Scotland disassembled and reassembled here in the US piece by piece. On another occasion he asked me why I wasn't in college yet. The job was after high school and I was working as a plumber, and gave me an outright when I told him I couldn't afford to go yet and had to save up.